During the Ming Dynasty Wanli period, Huashan Sect's senior disciple Linghu Chong, tired of the trivial matters of the Jianghu, planned to take his junior sister Yue Lingshan and a group of junior brothers to retreat from the Jianghu at Niubei Mountain. But unexpectedly, when passing by a Miao people's wild inn, they saw corpses strewn all over outside the inn. Realizing something was wrong, the group hurried inside to investigate. As a result, they found many weapons unique to the Fusan people at the scene. Due to the recent rampant activities of the Fusan people at the border, Linghu Chong speculated that this incident was probably a feud between the Miao people and the Fusan people. Now that there were no survivors at the scene, the Huashan people, who had originally planned to retreat from the Jianghu, decided not to pursue the matter further. But unexpectedly, just as the group was preparing to leave, a team of patrol officials from the Eastern Factory happened to pass by. Seeing the officials approaching the wild inn, Linghu Chong, to protect his junior brothers and sisters, decided to charge out alone to attract their attention. He leapt onto his swift horse, and soon, he had distanced himself from the officials. However, just as he was about to turn back, a loud explosion suddenly echoed from afar. Then he saw a large flock of frightened birds falling to the ground. Linghu Chong thought it was the work of villains and quickly drew his sword to confront them. Unexpectedly, he saw a graceful woman standing on the riverbank. Fortunately, Linghu Chong reacted swiftly, and he sidestepped and sheathed his sword just in time to avoid injuring her. However, the wine jug on his back accidentally fell into the woman's hand. Seeing the woman feed all the wine to the fish in the river, Linghu Chong was instantly furious. But to his surprise, the woman threw her own wine jug to him. Linghu Chong opened it and took a sip, only to find it was 100-year-old fine wine. Seeing the woman's charming figure, Linghu Chong was instantly captivated. He wanted to get to know her, but when he asked for her name, the woman suddenly froze. Then she suddenly plunged into the water, disappearing without a trace. To avoid implicating the woman, Linghu Chong immediately went ashore alone to find a master. He searched around the shore, but found no sign of a master. When he looked back, the woman had already vanished, leaving only 2 wine jugs on the shore. Linghu Chong was overjoyed, and he took the 2 wine jugs and left happily. Soon after, he successfully reunited with his junior brothers and sisters, and they set out again towards Niubei Mountain. But unexpectedly, just as they were about to reach their destination, an old masked man appeared, blocking their way. They sensed that this person was not kind. Linghu Chong initially wanted to show goodwill and observe the enemy's situation, but unexpectedly, the man suddenly drew his sword and attacked. The junior brothers and sisters hurried forward to respond, but to their surprise, they were no match for the old man. Seeing the old man's formidable strength, Linghu Chong no longer watched from the sidelines and immediately drew his sword to unleash his ultimate move, the Jiu Jian, 9 swords of Dugu, and only performed the first 4 forms before he could even confront Hattori Senjun. The woman suddenly leapt into the air, jumping off the cliff. Linghu Chong didn't have time to think and hurriedly followed to rescue her. He didn't expect that the woman would suddenly point an acupoint at his back, causing him to faint on the spot. When he woke up again, he found himself in the dungeon of the Ronin camp. It turned out that the woman who had drunk twice with Linghu Chong was none other than the infamous Dongfang Bubai, a figure feared throughout the martial world. Although he was originally a man, since practicing the Sunflower Manual, his entire being had gradually become more feminine for unknown reasons, even his voice turning soft and gentle. However, at this moment, still unaware of the situation, Linghu Chong did not doubt Dongfang Bubai's identity. He only thought he had been captured by the Fusan people and tried every possible way to escape and confirm Dongfang Bubai's safety. He unexpectedly saw Ren Woxing, who was also imprisoned in a dungeon. Who could have imagined that the notorious Dongfang Bubai would go to such lengths of cruelty to dominate the martial world? Linghu Chong, unable to bear seeing Ren Woxing suffer further, immediately cut the chains restraining him and rescued him from the dungeon. But before they could get far, a group of cult members blocked their way. Seeing that everyone was targeting Ren Woxing, Linghu Chong planned to fight and find an opportunity to break through. Unexpectedly, Ren Woxing showed no mercy and directly used the star-absorbing technique, instantly absorbing the energy of the attacking cult members. Although Linghu Chong disapproved of this method, the situation was urgent, and he did not say much. After dealing with the cult members, Ren Woxing and Linghu Chong successfully left the Ronin camp and reunited with Ren Yingying and others. After learning about Dongfang Bubai's recent actions, Ren Woxing could no longer suppress his anger and immediately decided to uphold justice and reclaim the position of leader of the Sun Moon Holy Cult. However, Dongfang Bubai had now mastered the Sunflower Manual, and her forces were stronger than ever, making it difficult to completely eliminate her. Therefore, to increase his chances, Ren Woxing planned to enlist Linghu Chong's help and promised that as long as he cooperated, everyone could share Dongfang Bubai's empire. Despite how tempting this proposal was, Linghu Chong had no intention of participating in the martial world affairs anymore. Because he had already made an exception to help Ren Woxing rescue him, and now that the matter was resolved, he wanted to continue with his junior brothers to Niubei Mountain to retreat. However, before that, Linghu Chong needed to confirm whether Dongfang Bubai was safe. After refusing Ren Woxing, he returned to the Ronin camp once more, intending to find Dongfang Bubai and say goodbye properly. When Dongfang Bubai saw him coming in the middle of the night, she guessed that the other party might want to have a sleepless talk with her, so to avoid exposing her true gender, she planned to find a concubine to replace herself. Linghu Chong quickly fell in love. And Dongfang Bubai thought this was the best time to eliminate Ren Woxing and others, so he summoned his subordinates overnight, planning to storm the Sun Moon Holy Cult's main hall directly. Unexpectedly, his plan was overheard by Lan Fenghuang passing by. To prevent the other from returning to report, Dongfang Bubai immediately threw out a poisonous flying needle, stabbing Lan Fenghuang, then ordered his men to kill her on the spot. Fortunately, Lan Fenghuang reacted quickly and escaped by sealing her acupoints. She then fled injured all the way, finally returning to the main hall at the last moment. Ren Woxing and others learned of the news. Knowing they were no match, they hurriedly fled. But Huashan Sect's junior sister Yue Lingshan could not bear to see Lan Fenghuang die, so she threw aside her retreat from the martial world and saved Lan Fenghuang's life. Soon after, other Huashan disciples arrived upon hearing the news. They planned to take Lan Fenghuang back for treatment, but unexpectedly, Dongfang Bubai appeared again at this moment. To cover Yue Lingshan's retreat, several senior brothers bravely stepped forward to fight Dongfang Bubai. But they were no match for Dongfang Bubai. In just 2 moves, blood splattered on the spot. Seeing this, Yue Lingshan was filled with grief and anger. She wanted to go back and avenge her senior brothers, but was stopped by Lan Fenghuang, who pointed to her acupoints. After saying that, Lan Fenghuang suddenly stood up. She stuffed a poisonous snake into her mouth, then spat venom at Dongfang Bubai. However, Dongfang Bubai's figure was like A. He easily dodged the attack with a light leap. But Lan Fenghuang, overwhelmed by the poison, died instantly. Failing to eliminate Ren Woxing, Dongfang Bubai could only leave in frustration. The next day, Linghu Chong returned after a night's rest and found the ground full of corpses. It was like a bolt from the blue. He never expected that, just 1 night away, he would be separated from his junior brothers forever. By this point, Linghu Chong deeply understood that the main culprit was Dongfang Bubai. So, to avenge his junior brothers, he finally decided to join forces with Ren Woxing. Before the battle, Ren Woxing shared with Linghu Chong the secret of cultivating the sunflower manual. It turned out that the key to cultivating the sunflower manual was to first castrate oneself, which was also the reason Dongfang Bubai became a woman. Learning that the other was willing to go to such lengths to achieve his ambitions, Linghu Chong was instantly chilled. But even so, he still decided to avenge his junior brothers. Soon after, they attacked Dongfang Bubai's stronghold at Haima Cliff. It was only then that Linghu Chong finally saw Dongfang Bubai's true face. Linghu Chong asked Dongfang Bubai, was the person who spent the night with him that night her? Dongfang Bubai did not answer. Meanwhile, Ren Woxing couldn't help but burst into wild laughter. Seeing this, Dongfang Bubai immediately pushed out a fire pot and attacked everyone, while he himself turned around with interest and retreated to the pavilion, beginning to recite poetry and embroider flowers. Ren Woxing, the former leader of the Sun and Moon Divine Cult, saw his arrogance, immediately threw out a deadly pipa hook, restricting Dongfang Bubai's hands, then let his daughter, Ren Yingying, seize the opportunity to attack. Unexpectedly, Dongfang Bubai was able to fight 2 enemies at once with ease. He first used his energy to severely injure Ren Woxing, then threw several flying needles at Ren Yingying. At a critical moment, Linghu Chong timely stepped forward, using quick swordsmanship, successfully saved them. Seeing Linghu Chong risking his life to save them, Dongfang Bubai couldn't help but recall the past memories with him. Feeling compassionate, she immediately forced her energy to retract the flying needles. But unexpectedly, Linghu Chong disregarded past feelings and decisively stabbed out a sword. Dongfang Bubai leapt into the air to eliminate the 2 rivals for her love, ignoring her severely wounded body, directly activated the sunflower movement technique, shaking the city wall into pieces with a palm, then seized Yue Lingshan and the others. In desperation, Linghu Chong immediately combined 4 moves into one, successfully rescuing them. But seeing Dongfang Bubai about to fall into the abyss, Linghu Chong felt compassion again and once more reached out to pull her back. Dongfang Bubai, disheartened, never answered Linghu Chong's question, but instead, without answer, resolutely fell into the abyss and disappeared from the world. After this incident, Ren Woxing resumed his position as the leader of the Sun and Moon Divine cult. Unexpectedly, the first thing he did after taking office was to bloodily purge Dongfang Bubai's former followers within the cult. What was even more chilling was, he not only failed to fulfill his previous promise to share the kingdom with Linghu Chong, but even turned around and included him on the kill list. Ren Yingying learned of the news, unwilling to see Linghu Chong die in vain.